The Dallas Cowboys have a lot of top tier duos, but which is the best one? We will try to answer that question on tonight's video. Here we go. What is up, everyone, and welcome into A to Z Sports Dallas Primetime. I am your host, Mauricio Rodriguez, streaming with you live every Sunday through Thursday night, but not tonight, though. No live show tonight. This is a recording, and we'll get into why in a few moments here on the show. But before we do any of that, let me remind you that Primetime is brought to you by our friends over at freemanmazda.net. And tonight, we will talk about the best duos on the Dallas Cowboys. This is one of the articles that I always like clicking on when they're put together by national media outlets like PFF, like CBS, NFL.com, all of that. And they usually will take a look at NFL wide, where are the best duos by position? And I love that kind of content. And I wondered, which is the best duo on the Cowboys? Because we have some pretty noticeable duos in Dallas that are worth talking about. One of them, obviously, is Mike Parsons slash DeMarcus Lawrence, and I would pair them together because I see them both as an edge rusher. We might argue Micah is a linebacker, and we might argue Micah is a defensive end and all of that, but they are ultimately edge rushers. There's also, on the defensive backfield, a couple made up of Trevon Diggs and Stephon Gilmore. There is CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks. I would guess Brandon Cooks would be the right receiver to pair with CeeDee over Michael Gallup. But if you guys disagree with me, use the chat to let me know, use the comments. And there could even be a dark horse candidate that I will leave towards the end of this video, when I will also talk about why I was absent last week, because I owe you an explanation of that. So let me know in the chat before I give you my answer, and before I give you the dark horse position that could also be involved in this process. Let me know, which do you think is the best duo on the Cowboys entering the 2023 NFL season? I will give you my answer briefly, but before I do any of that, though, let me talk to you about our friends over at freemanmazda.net, because as always, it is time for us to discuss the ride of the week. Freeman Mazda, family-owned business, has been so for over 65 years, and you can check out their cars in their dealership at Irving, Texas, or at their website on freemanmazda.net.com. .net, excuse me. Of course, you can check out their wide range of new and used vehicles over there. You can see the features of every car. You can see pictures of the outside and inside of every vehicle. And as we do around this time, it is time for us to discuss the ride of the week. In this case, the 2023 Mazda MX-5 Miata RF Grand Touring. You can check it out over at freemanmazda.net, but I will let you know some of the features right now. It's got Apple CarPlay / Android Auto. It's got a convertible roof, premium audio, a blind spot monitor, and it starts at $36,815 with a fuel economy of 26 miles per gallon in the city. That goes up to 34 when you are on the highway. Check it out over at freemanmazda.net. So, best duo on the Cowboys. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat. It's a close call to me on the defensive side of things. Now, I did see an article, I think it was from NFL.com, that listed the best duo in Dallas. No, it was actually from a CBS article. Listed the best duo in Dallas as Micah and Trevon Diggs. I see it. I understand the point, but I don't think it's fair. I think we got to stay with just one position here, and that's why I'm going with the edge rushers over the cornerbacks. Trevon Diggs, Stephon Gilmore have a strong case themselves, but I just think that Micah and Lawrence, Parsons first and foremost, is one of the best edge rushers in the entire NFL, and that gives me a little bit more confidence in calling this group the best in Dallas. I think that Trevon Diggs is pretty good, but I would struggle to convince anybody that he's the best cornerback in the NFL. And while Micah has some strong competition with the Myles Garretts of the world and the Bosa's of the world, he has a case. You can make the argument that Micah is the best in his position in the entire league. That's why in back-to-back years, he's gotten consecutive Defensive Player of the Year votes. And I cannot say the same for Trevon Diggs. So that gives them an edge, in my opinion. And then also, the Marcus Lawrence, still pretty damn good. As a pass rusher specifically, he might not be among the best. But if you take the entirety of his game and how he works as a run defender, he's still one of the best in the NFL as a complete defensive end. So I feel pretty confident in saying that this group is the best duo in Dallas. I think that the cornerbacks, Gilmore and Diggs, would be a close second. Other than that, I would struggle to make a case for the wide receivers, even though I like a lot what CeeDee Lamb has done. You know, it's Brandon Cooks' first year in Dallas, so that makes it a little bit tougher. And I know the same can be said about Gilmore, but still, Gilmore has remained one of the best corners in the league over the last few years. So I think that's a little bit different. Here's a position group that could be a wild card answer here, though. I promised you that. I promised you that earlier in the video, and I don't want to forget about it. Offensive guards. If Tyler Smith is indeed the left guard of the Cowboys in 2023, Tyler Smith and Zach Martin could have a very strong case themselves. Tyler Smith is 22 years old. He's going to be 22 when the season starts. I believe that Tyler Smith has what it takes to have a Pro Bowl season. I don't want to say All Pro because that might be too strong to get into yet. But if he has a Pro Bowl season and then you got Zach Martin, who's the best offensive guard in football right now, they also have a pretty strong case. Other than that, I don't see any other duos in Dallas that I could confidently put in this type of conversation. That being said, before I get out of here, ladies and gentlemen, let me give you a quick explanation for all of you loyal primetime listeners. You guys knew that this week was going to be my vacation week, the one that we are in currently, but you guys didn't know about last week. That was pretty sudden. I disappeared on you after just one show that we had on Sunday. So I want to apologize for that. I want to give you an explanation. We'll talk more about it on Sunday when the live show comes back. We will be back on Sunday. But my dad, unfortunately, passed away. He was 57 years old. He was fighting illnesses, multiple illnesses since 2017. Last week was a little bit too much, even for my father, who was an absolute badass. So we can talk more about it on Sunday night. But I did want to share it with you guys because I know many of you wondered. I even got some DMs, some messengers here and there about, hey, Mo, what's up with the show? What happened? I didn't want to leave you guys that suddenly, but, circumstance called and I had to be there for my family. And I mean, I was going through it myself. So we'll be back on Sunday night. We have another video coming up tomorrow night on Thursday. So check it out. Hit the like button, subscribe, and as always, remember that Primetime is brought to you by our friends over at freemanmazda.net. See you guys.